Hi guys, let's start the new exercise. The new exercise that we're doing is exercise 23b. But before we start the exercise, let's quickly revise how to create the trigonometrical table for standard angles. So step 1, you write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is for the 5 standard angles: 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree and 90 degree. So you write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 divided by 4. So you dividing all elements by 4 and then take the square root of the number that you're getting. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 divide by 4 and take square root. The first value that you will get will be the sine of the respective angle. So sine 0 in this case would be 0. This would be 1 by 2. 2 by 4 is 1 by 2, which means the square root of which is 1 by root 2. This would be root 3 by 2. And sine 90 would be 1. So that's how you get the value of sine. If you want to get into cos, you write the numbers of sine in exactly the reverse order. So sine 90 is 1, so cos 0 would be 1. So now we are writing sine in reverse order. So the next one would be root 3 by 2, next is 1 upon root 2, the next is half, and the last is 0. So sine increases from 0 to 1, whereas cos reduces from 1 to 0. Yes. Next, if you remember your reciprocal relations and another relation between trigonometrical ratios, tan theta is equal to sine theta upon cos theta. So you divide the value of sine by the value of cos and you get the value of tan. So tan 0 degree would be sine 0 degree divided by cos 0 degree. In this case 0 divided by 1, which is equal to 0. Similarly, tan 30 degree would be equal to sine 30 degree upon cos 30 degree. In this case 1 by 2 upon root 3 by 2, which would be 1 upon root 3. Similarly, this is 1, tan 60 degree would be root 3, and 1 divided by 0 is not defined, so it is infinity or not defined. Next, if you want to get into cosec, cosec theta is equal to 1 upon sine theta. So we are taking the reciprocal of sine. So the reciprocal of 0 would be not defined, which is infinite. Next, the reciprocal of 1 by 2 is 2. This would be root 2. This would be 2 upon root 3. And the last one, 1, would be 1. Now, if you want to get into sec from cosec, write cosec in the reverse order. In this case, 1 would be the first number. Next would be 2 upon root 3. Next comes root 2. Then comes 2. And the last would be infinite or not defined. So I repeat, you write cosec in the reverse order exactly the way you wrote sine in the reverse order for cos. And cot is write tan in the reverse order, which means the first one is infinite, which is not defined. Then tan 60 would be equal to cot 30, which is root 3. Tan 45 is equal to cot 45, 1. Tan 30 is equal to cot 60, which is 1 upon root 3. And tan 0 is equal to cot 90, which is 0. So this is creating that table. Now let's look at solving some questions from the exercise that we are doing right now, which is 23b. So question number 1, part 1. It says given A is equal to 60 degree and B is equal to 30 degree, prove sine A plus B is equal to something. So let's start with the left hand side. Like I've said earlier, there are 3 ways of proving it. Option 1, you work with left hand side and prove it equal to right hand side. Option 2, you start with right hand side and you prove it equal to left hand side. So that's option 1. This is option 2. And the third option is you work with left hand side, make it equal to a particular number, let's say A, and you work with right hand side, you make it equal to another number, let's say A. So if A and A are equal, which means left hand side can be reduced to A, right hand side can be reduced to A, which means left hand side and right hand side are equal. So let's see what is left hand side for us. Left hand side is sine A plus B, which is 60 degree, plus 30 degree, which is equal to sine 90 degree, which is equal to 1. Now let's work with the right hand side. The right hand side is sine A, which means sine 60 degree, dot cos B, which is cos 30 degree, plus cos A, which is cos 60 degree, multiplied with sine B, which is sine 30 degree. And our sine 60 degree is equal to root 3 upon 2. Cos 30 degree is equal to root 3 upon 2. Cos 60 degree is equal to half, and sine 30 degree is equal to half. So root 3 by 2 into root 3 by 2 is 3 by 4, and 1 by 2 by 1 by 2 is 1 by 4, which is equal to 4 by 4 is equal to 1. Therefore, LHS is equal to RHS is equal to 1. So hence proved. Done. Simple, isn't it? The only thing you need to know is how to create this table, and once you've done the table, it's basically substitution. Let's look at the left hand side of our question 1 part 2. Cos A plus B, which is cos 90 degree. In this case, it is equal to 0. Let's look at the right hand side. Now right hand side is cos 60 degree multiplied with cos 30 degree minus sine 60 degree multiplied with sine 30 degree. Now cos 60 degree is equal to half, cos 30 degree is equal to root 3 upon 2, minus sine 60 degree is equal to root 3 upon 2, and sine 30 degree is equal to half. So the first term is root 3 upon 4, the second term is also root 3 upon 4, which is equal to 0. Since LHS is equal to RHS is equal to 0, hence proved. So we've been able to prove that left hand side and right hand side are equal to 0, hence left hand side is equal to right hand side. Done. Let's look at the next question. The next question that we're doing is question number 1 part 3. So the question says cos A minus B. In this case, let's work with left hand side first. So cos A minus B, which is 60 minus 30 degree, which is equal to cos 30 degree, and this is equal to 1 upon root 2. Let's work with right hand side. Now right hand side is cos 60 degree dot cos 30 degree plus sine 60 degree dot sine 30 degree. Now cos 60 degree is equal to half, cos 30 degree is equal to root 3 upon 2, plus sine 60 degree is equal to root 3 upon 2, and sine 30 degree is equal to half. So this is root 3 upon 4 plus root 3 upon 4, which is equal to 2 root 3 upon 4, which is equal to root 3 upon 2. Oh, I am not getting the correct answer. Why? Let's check. Left hand side is cos 60 minus 30, which is cos 30, which is equal to root 3 upon 2. I have written it as 1 upon root 2. So that's the mistake that I have done. Right? So cos 30 degree is equal to root 3 upon 2. Now we getting the correct answer. Since LHS is equal to RHS is equal to root 3 upon 2, therefore hence proved. So one mistake that I did by not taking the value properly, but hopefully, thankfully, I realized it before the end of the question. Let's look at question number 2. It says if A is equal to 30 degree, then prove that sine 2A is equal to 2 sine A dot cos A is equal to 2 tan A upon 1 plus tan square A. So there are 3 terms. So let's look at the first term. So this is the first term that I'm looking at, which is sine 2A, which is equal to sine 60 degree, which is equal to root 3 upon 2. Let's look at the second term. Our second term is 2 times sine A, which is sine 30 degree, dot cos A, which is cos 30 degree, and this is equal to 2 into sine 30, which is half, multiplied with cos 30, which is root 3 upon 2. So this term is also equal to root 3 upon 2. My first term and second term are equal to root 3 upon 2. Let's see if the third term is also equal to root 3 upon 2. So third term is 2 times tan A, which is 2 times tan 30 degree, which is 1 upon root 3. divided by 1 plus tan square A. So tan square 30 degree is 1 upon 3. This means 2 upon root 3 divided by 3 plus 1, 4 upon 3, which is 2 upon root 3 multiplied with 3 upon 4 to 1 to 2. So this is 3 upon 2 root 3. Let's rationalize. So this becomes 3 root 3 upon 2 into 3, which means root 3 upon 2. I have less space here. So anyway, we've got the third term also equal to 0. Now since first term is equal to second term is equal to third term, hence proved. Done. I have taken a lot of space in putting this table here because a lot of students have requested if we can keep the formulae and the values on the same page. Let's look at the next question. The next question that we're doing is question number 2 part 3. So question number 2 part 3 says 2 cos square A minus 1 is equal to 1 minus 2 sin square A. Let's look at left hand side. Left hand side is 2 cos square 30 degree minus 1, which is equal to 2 times cos 30. So the square of which is 3 upon 4. Yes, root 3 upon 2 whole square is 3 upon 4 minus 1. So this is 2, 1, 2, 2. So this is equal to 3 by 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1 by 2. Let's look at the right hand side. The right hand side is 1 minus 2 into sine square 30, which is equal to 1 minus 2 into sine 30 is half, which means sine square 30 is 1 by 4, which means 2 minus half, which is equal to, not 2 minus half, 1 minus half. This first term is 1, not 2, which is equal to 1 minus half, which is equal to half. Therefore, LHS is equal to RHS is equal to half. So, hence proved. Let's look at the next question. The next question that we do is question number 3 part 1. It says A is equal to B is equal to 45 degree. Prove sine A minus B is equal to something. So let's look at left hand side. Now left hand side is sine A minus B, which is 45 minus 45, which is equal to sine 0 degree, which is equal to 0. Let's look at the right hand side. Right hand side is sine 45 multiplied with cos 45 minus cos 45 into sine 45. Now sine 45 is 1 upon root 2. Cos 45 is 1 upon root 2 minus cos 45 1 upon root 2 sine 45 1 upon root 2. So this is half minus half, which is equal to 0. So therefore LHS is equal to RHS is equal to 0. So hence proved. Done. Let's look at the next question. The next question that we do is question number 4 part 1. It says if A is equal to 30 degree, prove sine 3A is equal to 4 sine A dot sine 60 minus A dot sine 60 plus A. Again, let's work with left hand side first. So left hand side is sine 3A, which means 3 into 30 degree, which is sine 90 degree, and sine 90 degree is equal to 1. Now let's look at the right hand side. The right hand side has 4 times sine A, which means sine 30 degree. Sine 30 degree is half multiplied with sine 60 minus 30, which is again 30, sine 30, which is again half, and this is sine 60 plus 30, which is sine 90, which is 1. So this is 2, 2, 2, 1 and 2, 1. So this is 1 into 1, which is equal to 1. Therefore LHS is equal to RHS is equal to 1. So hence proved. Let's look at question number 4 part 3. Question number 4 part 3 says prove that cos 2A. Again, let's look at the left hand side. Left hand side is cos 2a, which is cos 60 degree, which is equal to half. Let's look at right hand side. Right hand side is cos 4a. So cos to the power 4 of a is 30 degree minus sine to the power 4 of 30 degree. Now cos 30 degree is equal to root 3 upon 2 raised to the power 4 minus sine 30 degree is half to the power 4. This is equal to root 3 to the power 4, which is 3 into 3, and this is 4 into 4 minus this is 1 upon 4 into 4. So this would be equal to 9 upon 8 minus 1 upon 8, which is equal to 9 minus 1 upon 8, which is 8 upon 8 is equal to 1. So I think there is some mistake that I have done. Let's look at the mistake. Cos 2a, a is given equal to 30 degree. So cos 2a would be cos 60 degree, and cos 60 degree is half. So my left hand side is correct. Let's look at right hand side. Cos to the power 4a. Cos to the power 4 of a is 30 degree. So cos 30 degree is root 3 by 2. So this will be root 3 to power 4. So root 3 into root 3 into root 3 into root 3 upon 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. So this is 4 into 2, 8 into 2, 16. That's where my mistake is. 4 into 4 is not 8. 4 into 4 is 16. Similarly, this is 16. So I have realized my mistake. Two mistakes in one question, that's a lot. Anyway, let's see where we've gone wrong. So this is 9 minus 1 upon 16, which is 8 upon 16, which is equal to half. Now, therefore, LHS is equal to RHS is equal to half. Done. So I hope you realize solving them correctly is very important. I have made 2 mistakes already in this video. Doesn't matter, as long as you realize where you've gone wrong, you can always come back and correct the mistakes. Let's look at the next question. The next question that we're doing is question number 4, part 5. It says prove that 1 plus sine 2a plus cos 2a upon sine a plus cos a is equal to 2 cos a. Let's work with the right hand side first. Right hand side is a simpler term. In this case, 2 times cos 30 degree, which is equal to 2 times root 3 upon 2, which is equal to root 3. So let's look at the left hand side now. Left hand side has 1 plus sine 60 degree plus cos 60 degree upon sine 30 degree plus cos 30 degree. 1 plus sine 60 degree. Sine 60 degree is root 3 upon 2 plus cos 60 degree is 1 upon 2. The whole thing divided by sine 30 degree, which is 1 by 2, plus cos 30 degree, which is root 3 upon 2. And let's take the LCM in the numerator. So this will be 2. So if the numerator LCM is 2, and this is 2 plus root 3 plus 1. And in the denominator, let's take the LCM. LCM is again 2. This is 1 plus root 3. So this becomes 3 plus root 3 upon 2 multiplied with 2 upon 1 plus root 3. So this is 3 plus root 3 upon 1 plus root 3. Let's rationalize. So this would be 3 plus root 3 upon 1 plus root 3 multiplied with 1 minus root 3 upon 1 minus root 3. This becomes 3 minus 3 root 3 plus root 3 minus 3. 3 into 1, 3 minus 3 root 3 plus root 3 into 1, and root 3 into negative root 3 is minus 3. And this in the form becomes a square minus b square. So this is 1 minus 3. So then this becomes negative 3 root 3 plus root 3, which is negative 2 root 3. Yes, and this is becomes negative 2. negative 2 and negative 2 gets cancelled, which means I am left with root 3. So I have got my answer. Left hand side and right hand side are equal to root 3. Therefore, LHS is equal to RHS is equal to root 3. Hence, proved. Done. This brings me to the last question that I solved with you from this exercise. Let's look at this question. Cos cube A minus cos 3A. So in this case, cos to the power 3A 30 degree minus cos 3 into 30 degree, that's 90 degree, upon cos 30 degree, plus sine cube of 30 degree plus sine 3 into 30, that's 90. So sine 90 degree upon sine 30 degree. So we've started with the left hand side. Let's just write that what we're working on, left hand side. Let's substitute values. Cos 30 degree is half, is root 3 upon 2 whole cube, minus cos 90 degree is 0 upon cos 30 degree, which is root 3 upon 2, plus sine 30 is half, so this is half cube, plus sine 90 is 1 upon sine 30 is half. And this is root 3 upon 2 to the power cube divided by root 3 upon 2 plus 1 upon 2 cube is 1 upon 8 plus 1 divided by half. Now this is base equal, so I'll subtract the power. So this becomes root 3 upon 2 square plus, if I take the LCM in the denominator, in numerator, the LCM is 8. So this is 1 plus 8 upon 8 multiplied with 2 upon 1. So 2 1, 2 4. So what we have here is the first term becomes 3 upon 4, and this is 9 upon 4, which is equal to 12 upon 4, which is equal to 3, which is equal to right hand side. Therefore, LHS is equal to RHS is equal to 3. So hence proved. Done. That finishes this exercise for me. Before I leave, let me mark some homework questions for you. Homework questions for you would be whatever we did not solve. So that will be question number 1, part 4, question number 2, part 2 and part 4, question number 3, part 2, question number 4, 2, 4 and 6. Thank you so much. Take care. Be safe. I'll see you with the next video. Bye bye.